Alright everyone, courtesy of James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, we have another CNN video, this time involving Van Jones, so it's time for part 3 of the Trump-Russia story just fell apart because we now have another higher up at CNN saying, oh, yeah, it's a Nothingburger. In his own words, using the term Nothingburger to describe the Trump-Russia crap. Sane people knew long ago that at the very least there was no actual evidence that Trump colluded with the Russians. Even if the suggestion turns out to be true, it won't be because of any of the fantastical things being spun currently in the legacy corporate media. Over several months ago, I'm saying the legacy media's got a problem right now. They're going to have to push clickbait off on the population. That was at the dawn of the Russian conspiracy sort of tinfoil hat wearing crap that's now pushed by these corporations. And it's for money. It's for ratings. It's not part of some sinister plot to unseat the president, although I'm sure that they'd be glad if impeachment actually began, because then they'd have some new clickbait to go after. Here's the problem with the corporations that run the cable and radio and newsprint media. The problem is they need to turn a profit. They've got shareholders, they got the CEO, they got some parent company that they have to ingratiate themselves to. They can't do that unless they push clickbait, because there's the gargantuan nature of the internet and alt media, including clickbait, that is there alongside the less biased content or the more well thought out, less out there content. You might get it from me or Molyneux or Sargon or somebody like that. But for every person like that, there's also somebody who's talking about Nibiru, let's face it. The problem for the corporate media is it has to compete with that now in order to deliver news so-called to people. So it needs the fantastical side. It can't just do what it was doing back in the 80s or the 90s and do the straight reporting thing. Oh, that would make it even more boring. Their format is already non-interactive and boring anyway. That's why they have the dramatic theme music. That's why they hire the pin-up model-looking people to do the broadcasts on Fox. That's why they hire people who are, they have people aboard who are like celebrities or whatever. They do like some celeb interview. They're trying to maintain their relevancy, but a big part of that is clickbait. So now we have yet another hammer blow to CNN. Are they capable of maintaining any degree of trust from the public after it comes out that something that they've been pushing for so many months is considered even by people at CNN to be totally fucking false? It's like Fox News. Why did Fox News fundamentally suffer? Did anybody believe for a moment that Bill O'Reilly, who had already faced allegations of sexual assault years ago, did anybody have any illusions that that was the reason why Fox started going downhill? No, it wasn't until they let him go that it started going downhill. They lost one of their heavy hitters. Fox, though, suffers from the same problem as CNN. Their mode is outdated, just like CNN's. They devolve into clickbait, so you've got the ma-liberal conspiracy, ma-pinko, ma-whatever stuff, really competing with CNN's ma-Trump-Russia, and ma-Trump is insane, and ma-Hitler, my imaginary Nazis and stuff. So I brought some flowers here for CNN. I know there's a funeral for the legacy media, so I brought some flowers. I would have brought black ones, but I don't have any. I brought mustard flowers because the people at CNN right now must have spicy assholes from all the butthurt. I brought chamomile to try to calm them down as they slide into irrelevance. I think it's important, and this is, overall, it's important. Here you've got someone who has actually conducted investigative journalism. You can see it as a heavily edited hit piece or whatever they're going to brand it next. I'm sure that they will. But it is investigative journalism. That's actually how it's done. That's actually how real investigative journalism is done. Saying we have an unnamed source who claims an unnamed source within the White House saying something about Trump is not investigative journalism. There's no way to verify it. It's not investigative in nature. You're not attempting to investigate anything. Softballing somebody within the government, giving them some fluff piece interview like everyone did to Hillary Clinton, that's not investigative journalism. Saying to the public you're an evil, bigoted conspiracy theorist if you talk about certain issues is not investigative journalism. That's why the legacy media is dying. And I called it months ago. It wasn't just Fox. It was never just going to be Fox. The first warning sign was Fox starts to decline in every other network, and all of them claim to be liberal or center-left. they all start gobbling up all these conservatives. I'm sure that'll go well with their fan bases. Just like with the New York Times that did it first, when they had a couple of conservative columnists come on to write the op-ed. And everybody said, oh, the New York Times is running itself into the ground because they have one piece on there with a right-leaning opinion. It would be kind of like if Fox News decided, yeah, we're going to hire a couple people from the DNC. You know, we're going to have Nancy Pelosi start writing weekly op-eds for FoxNews.com, and we're getting rid of O'Reilly because of harassment. Let's bring, I don't know. Let's bring Dennis Kucinich aboard for an hourly, you know, sort of segment on anti-war sentiment and why social welfare is a good thing. Let's hire Al Sharpton to be for, you know, Fox News Black Outreach or something like that. It's the same friggin' thing. That's how it would be perceived. The average person there would think that's nuts. The average MSNBC viewer doesn't want to listen to anything outside of their echo chamber. But they have no choice. They have to compete for that extra money. They have to clickbait the right now, too. They'll go after mainly the neocons. I mean, it's not the entire complex of people that watch Fox News, but they are trying to jostle in now to actually grab up those views. The legacy media does not recover from this at this point. The corporate media, with its TV, radio, newsprint, is dying out. They're going to begin changing form, and that requires a major change in tactics. This is just the first part of it, by the way. They go into clickbait land. When they eventually realize that there's a tipping point at which the clickbait bringing in extra views begins to decline your overall relevancy because of a loss of trust, some or all of these networks will revert. What they'll do probably is schism. Part of the network will solely deal with the very dry, straight news reporting crap that nobody under 30 would ever want to listen to. And the rest will become like infotainment. They'll be hiring like Colbert or something like that for MSNBC so that they can talk about how much they hate Trump and believe that he's a Russian espionage agent. They'll go full tinfoil hat mode. They'll start doing stories on Nibiru or the flat earth, or Nazis under Antarctica, or something along those lines. They probably will. And it'll be even funnier. So, yeah, you just take a look at the video. The last one was trending on #1 just a day ago on YouTube. I wonder if this one will too. Advice to O'Keefe, though, wait a few days before releasing anything else that you have, because otherwise you get a declining rate of return, I think, when you do it too frequently. But what day of the week is it? It is Wednesday. Maybe he'll release stuff through Friday. That'd be funny. Wouldn't it be funny if the head of CNN, like they go past Van Jones and all this stuff, they go straight to the top CEO, even of the parent company, and get them to admit on camera, oh yeah, Trump didn't collude with the Russians. We're just pushing that off. It's like the Weekly World News. We realized the strategy worked. We looked at Trump's campaign. We realized when he made an off-the-wall claim, more people paid attention to it. It's the, you know, in their mind, I'm sure it would be, oh yeah, you lie big or you go home because more people believe in it. You know, the bigger the lie, the more people believe it sort of adage. I'm sure that's what CNN is trying to do, and it is a valid commercial strategy. But at some point it destroys your credibility, and then people don't even, then you just become literally a tabloid. Not that they haven't been for a long time, but I think the veil is coming off. People are realizing that they're no different. They are engaged in entertainment. CNN and Fox and all these companies, they're not there to inform you of anything. They're there to entertain you. Because if it weren't entertaining, you, after you slave away at your 9-to-5 job, wouldn't tune in. That's why they're losing viewers. When they realized they were hemorrhaging support, they changed their model. They became pure infotainment. They are no different from the same alt media sites like InfoWars or anything like that under the sun, or the Art Bell Show that they consistently criticize and say they're fake news. The only difference is that because they're under an FCC license and they're on the public airwaves or public cable, they're not allowed to say fuck. That's the only real difference. That's also their main disadvantage. They can't even state things freely. They can't ever be as exciting. You'll probably see, here's another thing. I'm not going to predict it because it's more up in the air, but here's another thing that's possible that will happen next half decade or so. You might see corporate media outlets attempt to derail government regulation on cable and radio. You may actually, they may take up a First Amendment style argument and say, oh no, the FCC shouldn't be censoring what we say. It's not public. Oh, we own everything. We should be able to say what we want on cable news. We should be able to say whatever we want on terrestrial radio. That's another way to go after the alt media. You can't beat them, so join them in saying things that the normies would find despicable, maybe. You could actually see them in the future. Don't be too surprised if they start tacitly making that argument. They may very well do so. As far as CNN's concerned, though, O'Keefe just delivered another major punch to them. How many more times does he need to punch them before they get knocked out completely and then I'm gasping on the floor with Fox News in the wake of Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly apparently going after every skirt that they see, allegedly? How many more times does that need to happen? I'm having a great time over here. It's just verifying everything that I predicted regarding the legacy media. And it couldn't be better. You should be really, really excited that this is happening. This is a good thing for the country. The more these losers decline, the more alt media grows, and the more opinions you have stated. You have tens or hundreds of thousands of people delivering that sort of alt media message. You only have a few cable networks. You only have a few newsprint groups that are of any significant size. And a lot of times they overlap anyway. Like some parent company owns 100 newspapers or something. And it's not independent media, even in the most loosely defined sense. So there are only a few companies that actually control 99% of what anyone heard 20 years ago. Now it's totally different. Totally different. And that's not even counting like independent websites. They're not even relying on social media. They just sort of overlap with them. They'll have a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. Then they have their own site where they do like their live broadcasts or something. There are a lot of groups that do that too. I'd love to branch out into something like that. I'd like to not even have to follow like the terms of service on these social media sites, be able to truly say whatever the hell that I want and put it in a broadcast on my own website. I'm thinking of doing that in the very near future. Stay tuned for that news to come. That's about all. Peace out.